Just wrapped up a few runs in the Yueying 5 and the Yueying 5 Pro. I split a 12-kilometer run in both shoes at marathon paces. For the first run in both, I just switched between the two. Then I did consecutive runs on the following days, alternating between these two. So these are still very early impressions and they might still be breaking in. I'll do a proper review after 80 to 100 kilometers in each. Not sure if I can do a long-term update beyond 300 kilometers because I'm still rotating in the Wind 3 TR. If I slot both Yueying 5 and the 5 Pro in my rotation right now, it might take a pretty long time to reach certain mileage on these shoes. I can probably achieve that with the 5 Pro because I really like it. So let's talk about the Yueying 5 and the Yueying 5 Pro. First thing I noticed was the drop. The 5 Pro feels like it's around 8 millimeters. The 4 Pro didn't feel like 8 millimeters. I think it was less than that. The non-Pro feels slightly higher, maybe around 10 millimeters or so. Aside from the drop, another thing that I noticed was the fit. The 5 Pro fits to the size this time. It's not as big as the 4 Pro. Along the lateral side, it tapers quite aggressively. So if you have longer little toes, it might get tight. The non-Pro is just a standard straight cut. Both are not very wide, but enough for my semi-wide feet. As for the weight of both shoes, my US size 10 weighs at 269 grams on the 5 Pro and 286 grams on the Yueying 5. I don't have details on the reference sizes on its weight, but let's proceed to what we know. My 5 Pro comes with a single layer jacquard mesh similar to my 4 Pro, which was a summer version. For those who had the 4 Pro winter versions, which was a dual layer and less breathable version, this is an upgrade in breathability. I don't know if the 5 Pro would follow the same trend of seasonal versions or colorways. Li-Ning's lack of labeling for seasonal versions on shopping platforms leads to confusion, so some buyers unknowingly bought the winter models instead of the summer versions. The oversight in product information combined with designs that appear borrowed from other brands feels quite lazy and unprofessional for Li-Ning. I really do hope they improve and tweak that, as Li-Ning's product quality and performance really does rival top brands. Getting off topic there, but let's get back to the upper. The tongue on both use a mesh up front and then a padded tongue top. They both differ in materials. The 5 Pro uses a stretchier sock-like mesh with a thinner lycra tongue. The non-Pro uses a more basic mesh and a thicker tongue. It's cheap feeling, but it works. Both didn't give me any issues. And around the heel, the 5 Pro has a more refined, smoother heel lining than the 4 Pro, which had a more coarse material. The Yueying 5 is more padded at the back, but is thinner on the sides than the 5 Pro. The 5 Pro looks thinner at the back of the heel, but feels more plush and premium with a thicker side cushion. Also, it's better materials. Both shoes have a midfoot shank called Pro Bar Lock. The Yueying 5 mentions it in the specs or the text under their product description, but it's unclear if it's a midfoot X or H frame or if it's just a basic dog bone shank. The Yueying 5 Pro's shank isn't quite noticeable. I did notice the stability coming from the higher arch and the firmer medial side below the midfoot. The outsole is the same as the 4 Pro, called GCU rubber, but it's a trimmed down version now. It's also embedded into the foam instead of being layered on top. This might be an issue once it wears out and you'll start to eat through the foam. It's a positive if weight matters to you, as it's now lighter than my 4 Pro, which was 282 grams, and it's 269 grams on the 5 Pro at my US size 10. Now let's talk about the foam setup with the 5 Pro first. The 5 Pro still uses a dual density foam setup, but this time on the 5 Pro, it's a firmer EVA bottom. I'm not sure if it's the same as the 4 Pro, but it just feels firm because now there's more of it. The Yueying 5 Pro has a small puck of super boom foam in the heel and just enough right at the forefoot. I don't think it's bad now compared to the 4 Pro, which looked like it had a lot of premium top foam. I think it's a deliberate design choice to pair with this new racing foam. The 4 Pro had boom foam, while the 5 Pro is now upgraded to the super boom foam, which feels distinct from the previous foam. Also, if they added more of the premium top foam here, it would likely make this into a super shoe, overlapping Li-Ning's existing super trainer. The 5 Pro is more of a cushioned premium daily trainer with a good pace versatility. As for the feel, both the 4 Pro and 5 Pro are energetic and cushioned. They're springy, but they deliver them differently, giving distinct experiences. The 5 Pro has a snappy decompression, a very quick energy return, and a direct response, in contrast to the 4 Pro's more springy, bouncier, and softer sensation. On its own, it was a fast energy return for me, but a bit tamer now compared to the 5 Pro. Despite lacking plates, the Yueying 4 Pro and 5 Pro excel at steady cruising paces without needing that guidance. The 4 Pro's toe spring gave it a smoother roll, but its up-tempo range faded at around threshold paces. The 5 Pro, however, feels closer to a plateless super shoe, maybe like Super Blast, although this isn't quite there. It doesn't have a pronounced toe spring like the 4 Pro and looks clunky, but the turnover actually is better. It has a better toe off, feels lighter, it's quicker, plus a very flexible forefoot for a natural toe off without relying on an aggressive rocker. The 5 Pro feels initially soft when I do my slow warm-ups at easy paces. Again, it feels just natural to run however you want, and it's not awkward at slow paces. As you pick up the pace, it just comes alive and gets more responsive as you go. You can feel the responsiveness from the bottom foam and get that soft initial compression from the top foam, but it's more tight, or a tighter kind of compression versus the 4 Pro. It surprised me during long strides, handling 800 meters at 4 minutes 40 second to 5 minute per kilometer pace. That was during the end of my runs, and it felt a bit easier. It outperformed the 4 Pro at faster paces. This one just feels snappier and quicker. And I also did a run earlier. I did some 1.2 kilometers at marathon pace. Felt easier than my other non-plated shoes. It's better than my 4 Pro and my Nova Blast 5 at up-tempo. Like the Nova Blast 4, I think, which was better than the Nova Blast 5 when picking up the pace, because they do sort of feel the same kind of firmness once you pick up the pace, although they don't feel quite the same. Other one is much more cushiony. This one is also cushioned, but you do feel more grounded in this one. Another shoe where the 5 Pro will be a good alternative to is the New Balance Rebel V5. This should be a more cushioned option compared to those I mentioned. You can look at them the same way if you're looking at a balance of softness for daily training and easy runs, but with the up-tempo performance or that good pace versatility. In summary, the Yueying 4 Pro stood out for its exceptional smoothness and predictability. The 5 Pro is smooth and predictable as well, to a lesser extent, as it doesn't rely on a pronounced rocker for smooth transitions. If the 4 Pro was steady, springy, energetic, this is also steady, slightly less springy, but with a more direct response, making it a more exciting kind of feel. Prices are way off for the 5 Pro on some platforms, but it is really pricier than the 4 Pro now, so the cheaper and better value is still gonna be on the 4 Pro, but cheaper than that is the Peak Upsurdy 4.0. It's just not as good when going very slow. It's not quite there when you're going above tempo paces. But then again, it is way cheaper. It just doesn't have that oomph, doesn't have that premiumness, but gets the job done. Now let's talk about the Yueying 5. It uses Cloud plus TPE, basically just EVA. It's well done for a shoe at this price point. The foam is soft when you squish it by hand, suggesting a plush ride, but during runs, it wasn't really that plush. It does have some soft compression initially, but it lacks some response, sort of a dull kind of feel, similar to the Wind 3 TR's dullness. These two might seem similar at a glance, with the Yueying 5 appearing like a higher stack version. However, the Wind 3 TR has a softer, squishier foam, while the Yueying 5, though soft, is less squishy as it firms up a bit and gives more of a pop. Its foam isn't overly soft, avoiding a mushy and tiring feel, and it's stiff enough to roll you forward, but not as effective really. Unlike the Wind 3 TR's lower to the ground feel, and it's very flexible at toe off, giving a more natural feeling kind of a ride. The Yueying has better stability if you're a heel striker that tends to pronate or supinate more, because the heel doesn't sink in too much. That gives you at least some security there. The foam feel of the Yueying 5 sort of reminds me of the New Balance Propel V4, with the Yueying slightly firmer. Note that the Yueying 5 may still be breaking in though, so it might get softer over time. Durability, it has an overkill thick outsole. It does have some cutouts on some parts to save on weight, so the Yueying 5 might be an overall better shoe. It's more durable, stable, cushioned, but I still prefer the Wind 3 TR. It's natural, flexible toe off, also feels quicker and lighter at 255 grams versus the 286 grams of the Yueying on my US size 10. Anyway, before we end this, again, still very early impressions for these two, just a few runs on each, so this could all change. I hope you can wait for my full reviews on each after I get more mileage in them. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you've tried either pair, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay fit, run strong, and be kind.